C is to receive the first quarter investment report for calendar year 2026. Item D is to approve an amendment to the agreement with the Regional Government Services for Human Resources Support Services for our fiscal year 25-26. E is to approve a revised job description for Information Technology Administrator to include supervisory responsibilities and updated job description for the engineering technician to reflect a change in supervision. Item F on the consent calendar is to approve the purchase of water meters and registers. Item G is to amend the construction contract with Monterey Peninsula Engineering for the construction and closeout of lift station improvement safety grates project. And last, H is to amend the construction contract with Permagreen Hydro Seeding for the landscaping at the A1, A2 reservoir site. Do any board members wish to pull any of those items? Director Imamura.
The item 10A,
10A.
10D, and 10F.
So we're pulling 10A, 10D, and F is in Frank.
Yeah.
A is in David.
Yes.
Any other directors? Okay, does anybody in the public? Don't see any hands going up, don't see anybody taking the opportunity to speak. So with regard to the items 10B, C, E, G, H, does anybody wish to make a motion to it?
Move approval.
I second. So we have a first by Director Moore, second by Director Smith for approval of items B, C, E, G, H. And with that, any comments? None. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Smith? Yes. Director Imamura?
Yes.
Vice President Schreiner? Yes. President Morton? Yes. So those items all passed with unanimous approval. Let's next take item 10A, which is to receive and file the check register for the month of April 2026. This is on page 12 of your agenda package. Mary Lagasta is at the podium to ask questions. Director Imamura? Yes, we are.
Just a couple quickies here. So, on your check read, well, because they're not numbered really good, so I'll tell you.
Can you tell us what page?
Yeah, it's on page. It's a 4.
Thank
So, toilet rebate. There was only one toilet rebate for the whole month, or 3/4 of the month, I guess. Just curious. I just wondered, because we want to encourage people to whatever. It looks like we only have one. Okay, interesting. Okay, next one is the Costco wholesale membership on that same page, 130. Now, is that an individual membership, or do they have like business membership? 'Cause I seem to think I seem to be paying more than that. It's a personal executive membership? Corporate, they get a little, okay. And so how do they do that? Do they just, anybody uses the card and goes in? Just curious.
It's for the hot dog.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Actually, we haven't bought any hot dogs. It's always been the maintenance worker that's been over.
So you just buy whatever food or whatever?
It's typically, janitorial supplies. A lot of times we're buying bulk from Costco, but they're cheaper than a janitorial supply store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I was wondering. Okay, thanks. And then, just curious here, Quick Quack Car Wash. It says in parentheses, 9 fleet vehicles and $72. So is that like a corporate rate or something, right? $8 per car wash? That's pretty cheap.
That's a cheap rate, yes.
That-
That is a
that-
corporate
that-
rate. So,
$8?
yep, so we're on a plan, basically you pay for what you use. So a lot of times their methodology is,
Yeah.
per vehicle, and so it's a membership for that attached vehicle of people that start at $30. We're on a corporate plan, so whatever vehicle we pay, charge the $30.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about, not, maybe I'm getting out of my, my area here, but, can that be transferred to employees as a benefit? I mean, $8 for a car is pretty cheap.
Don't think so. I mean, we can look into it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's only for corporate government, but, yes, that is a very good rate that we get.
Yeah, I'll have to ask them. Okay, thank you. And then, I guess the other ones, I usually highlight the really big expenditures, 100,000, 500,000, those type of things. So, and I guess, for example, like the, monitoring wells installation. Maggiora Brothers, did we go out, you go out to bid on those?
We did.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I just wanted to make
Grant
sure.
reimbursement.
And that came to the board, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me see, I think I know that one more. Yeah, I think that's it. Most of the other things have to do with, a lot of HR stuff. So, anyway, thank you.
So with your questions answered, do you want to move approval of item A?
Yes, move approval.
I'll second. So we have a first and second in comments on the motion. So the motion before us is to receive and file the check register for the month of April 2026. We'll take a roll call vote.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Imamura,
Yes?
Director Moore,
Yes.
Vice President Sharney.
Yes.
President Morton,
Yes, we're next going to move to the pulled item 10D as in David, which is to approve the amendment to the agreement with the Regional Government Services, RPS, for human resource services provided for the fiscal year 25-26. Again, Director Imamura, Mary Lagaska is at the podium to answer questions.
Okay, thank you. I think it's just a clarification. I think you were pretty thorough with your, with the agenda transmitted. So the additional money was to do extra recruiting and some of the other incidentals that are associated with that.
the main driver for the increase is the increase in leave and accommodation visas that we have in fiscal year 25-26. So as you can see, in page 32, we had a significant increase in the number of visas from last year. So those were not anticipated.
Okay,
From 14 to 20. Yes.
Right.
And we still have a few.
okay. I'll move forward.
I will second approval of item 10D, which is the amendment to the agreement with RGS. Any comments on the motion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Director Imamura,
Yes?
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Smith. Yes. Vice President Sharney.
Yes.
President Morton.
Yes, that passes unanimously. Next, we're going to move to consent item 10, applicant frame, which is to approve the purchase of water meters and registers. This is at page 77 of our packet. Director Imamura,
Yeah.
pull this item.
Yes, thank you. This is actually, I guess, a question for the, not this specific thing, but it has to do in relationship with the water meter. So, to the general manager. So there's the largest retailer in the South Bay has begun fitting all their meters with smart. Right. So where are we in terms of that for the post water?
We're slowly but surely moving in that direction. We have done a number of grants, outside funding to bring us to the AMI level.
Right.
We have outfitted a number of our cycles, I guess, or routes with them. And so we have a radio study that's told us where to put our towers, and we're moving in that direction. So you'll see, if we don't get the grant this year, you'll see in next year's CIP, the first steps forward to do that. Also, recycled water is going to get all those accounts right now, 24. 24 accounts are all going to be in line.
Yeah, because if it's anywhere near, hopefully it'll probably be a little bit more sophisticated, but I'm using that boom device. And that's it's pretty fantastic of what it does. And I mean, you can really, in real time, see what your water use is. And hopefully, once we do that, our ratepayers are going to be able to do that and control what they use.
Absolutely. And that they will have their own portals, much like PTV. So they
Right.
can go in and they can look at every year at 5-minute intervals. It'll signal to them when it's having a leak. It'll do.
Yeah, it's
it,
great.
It does a lot of pretty impressive stuff.
It'll be great. Hopefully they'll reduce the number of calls we get to, about leaks and things like that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks. Approval.
So I have a motion to move approval of item 10F. I'll second the motion. This is to approve the purchase of water meters and registers. Any discussion on the motion, Director Smith?
I have one question.
Oh, please.
Did this go out to bid for others? It's like the only company that we use.
This is our sole source of supply.
Okay. So there's like no other.
Well, no. So
Oh,
the so these meters, they have a local provider.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Oh, gosh.
Do we have a motion? I don't see anybody raising their hand on this. We'll do a roll call vote. Thank you, Katie.
Director Moore,
yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Inman Moore,
Yes.
Vice President Sherman.
Yes.
President Morton.
Yes, so item 10F passes unanimously. With that, we've concluded our consent calendar. We're moving to our action items. The first item is to adopt the Marina Coast Water District operating and capital improvement budget for the fiscal year 26-27, and to waive section 6.08.070 of the district code. Mary Lagaska will direct this item, and I think she has a PowerPoint, but also the staff reported that page 88. Thank you.
Good evening again, board, fellow staff, and members of the public. See you on next slide, please. So just an overview of what we will be covering for tonight. We'll do the usual budget timeline, a high-level summary of the budget, revenue budget assumptions, operating and non-operating, expense budget assumptions for personnel and department operating, expense, fiscal year 27 development update, fiscal year 27 capital equipment and CIP, historical investment, fiscal year 27 reserve balances. We will be asking the board to waive the long-term water supply ordinance. And then lastly, second to the last, we'll be discussing the key changes or highlights on the fiscal year 27 proposed budget. And the last section, we received a few questions from board members this morning. So I put together a few slides to answer those questions. So that will be the last piece. And again, before I proceed, I do ask that we go through the PowerPoint first, and then if there's any questions on the budget book, we can dive into that, and then the last will be the board discussion. Thank you. So timeline, staff actually started working on the budget around end of December, early January. Since then, we've been working on the budget. We met with the Budget and Engineering Committee twice, back in April 7 and just last week, May 12. We did the budget workshop April 20, and now May 18, we are asking that the board adopt the fiscal year 27 budget. Next slide. So just a high-level summary of the proposed budget. Our revenues, we are looking at 60.3 million. Operating expense of 35.6 million. The operating expense is It includes personnel, department operating, and interest expense. We have debt service principal of 2.6, capital equipment and CIP of 31.8, and we do need 9.8 million of transfers from our reserves to balance the budget. So the breakdown of that 9.8 million is 9.8 coming from capacity fee reserve, and we are putting in around 93,000 to the operating. Next slide. So operating revenue, we are looking at a total of 33.5 million. The first three items, water sales, sewer sales, and recycled water sales, the assumptions that we used were based on the rate study projections done back in 2024. Developer fees, the number here is based on the engineering estimates of the development activity for the year. Water allocation fee, that's going to be a new revenue source. I'll be discussing that in the next few slides. Water source fee, that's the primary source of revenue for the GSA to fund and the GSA fund to manage GSA activities. So those are charges to Marina and Port water funds, and they were factored in when we did the rate. Other fees and charges include the backfill revenue, fire system charge, meter fees, and land check or permit, which is also related to development. So from the last version of the budget, the only change here is that on the developer fees, we increased this number from 517,000 to 770,000, which is a $253,000 increase, and that is based on the latest estimate from our engineering department. And you will see on the next few slides, the developer that there's also a corresponding increase in the developer fee, developer expense side. So revenue and expense for the developers, they always go together, and they're always going to be the same amount because this is for reimbursable activity. So you will see a corresponding increase in developer expense on the expense side. Next slide. So non-operating revenue, we are looking at 26.8 million. So over here we have the capacity charge or capital surcharge. These are restricted revenues and are based on engineering estimates, again, of the development activity for the year. Interest revenue, the assumptions that we use are based on current market rates and historical trend. Other revenues, this includes rental agreements with BLM, lease revenue, and wheeling charge agreements. Line 11, 2024 bond proceeds. So these are the remaining funds from the bond issue that we did back in 2024 to fund capital improvement project. So this number is driven by the fiscal year 27 CIP budget. Lastly, grant revenue. This includes the cybersecurity grant which we already we were awarded this grant last year, and we have around 15 million in future grant applications planned out that's going to fund our CIP. So 15 million, this is CIP. And then cybersecurity, I think it's around 111,000 for this year. Next slide. So new sources of revenue for the year. We have the water allocation fee. This is an annual charge to other jurisdictions to manage their water allocation. So the basis of this is staff time allocated to other jurisdictions based on the amount of water remaining. So that's how we calculated this water allocation. State park beach office fees. The board approved this contract or agreement back in March. And lastly, a wheeling charge with Monterey One Water, of which the contract is still under negotiation. Next slide. Okay, sorry, Stella. This is our personnel cost. So, and you will see the comments on the right side. So wages, we are looking at a 6% increase. We factored in a 2.5% COLA plus step increases for the staff. overtime is down by 7%. CalPERS retirement, we factored in, this also includes, UAL payments, which went up by 12%. UAL is our unfunded accrued liability. So, our UAL went up by 12%. So you see an 8% overall increase in our CalPERS retirement budget. Medical insurance went up by 37% to the budget. The actual health insurance rate went up by 10%. Dental insurance went up by 3. Plus, we factored in changes in employee coverage. So, although the insurance rate just went up by 10, when you also factor in the changes within staff in terms of their coverage, our budget went up by 30%. Other benefits, 3%. This includes clothing allowances, tuition reimbursement, cell phone and car allowance. Taxes and insurance, an overall 4% increase. This includes social security, Medicare, and workers' comp. Pension expense, this is a non-cash expense. We budgeted for 50,000. And then we have around 1 million budgeted for O&M proposed additional positions. So this is 5 new positions in total, and 3 new plans. This is to support the district's ongoing expansion and the reactivation of the diesel plant. Board compensation, 292% from 10,000 to 39,200. This is due to a change, a proposed change in compensation from $50 per meeting to $100 per day. And this also includes dental and vision insurance. So overall personnel cost is up by 19%. And we are adding 2 system operators. So our budgeted FTE is going up from 53 to 54 for fiscal year 20. Next slide. Okay, department operating budget. So overall department operating budget is 22.7 million. The bulk of that is with admin department at 14.9 million, and that's 65% of the budget. Admin is where finance, customer service, and HR functions are housed. The big chunk of this budget is actually interest expense and depreciation. Depreciation being a non-cash expense. Between interest expense and depreciation, we're already looking at around 5.5 million. But then again, depreciation is not cash. So, and then district-wide general office expenses also with the admin department as well as board trade. The next one is O&M with 3.6 million or 16% of the budget. O&M is responsible for maintenance and equipment, utilities, regulatory fees, fleet maintenance, and facilities maintenance. Lab has 112,000 in budget. They do contract testing, and the printing cost for the CPR falls under the lab department. Conservation, we have 200,000 there. Rebate programs, conservation education, and landscape demonstration for 200,000. Engineering and IT, 2.4 million. Computer hardware, software, maintenance agreement, and the matching developer expense of 770,000 is falls under this department. Lastly, water resources, 1.6 million. The main bulk of their department expense is control. Next slide. So the next slide is our development update. The table in blue is for fiscal year 26, which is the current year. The green is fiscal year 27. So for fiscal year 26, we budgeted to construct or connect 347 units. Currently, we are at 200, which is 58% of our budgeted units. Fiscal year 27, and of course, whatever is not completed in fiscal year 26 will just carry over to fiscal year 27. So you will see a lot of developments that were listed in 26 also fall into 27. So fiscal year 27, we are expecting 285 units for ORD, 115 units for Marina, with a total of 400 units, and that is 15% increase from current year, fiscal year 26. So developer activities drive the following charges. Or revenues: capacity charge, meter revenue, plan check, permit fee, and of course, developer revenue and expenses for reimbursable activities. So this is normally our, when we use consultants. Next slide. Capital equipment at 1.4 million. So we do plan on purchasing a total of 5 vehicles, 3 Ford F-150, 2 Ford Escape. We are also planning on purchasing the modular building that's currently on 4th Avenue that we are currently using. So we will be purchasing that building for 340,000. We're purchasing a tractor combination cleaner for 700,000, and then other equipment for 145,000. So those are the equipment for O&M. For water resources, we're looking to purchase a drone for 16. Next slide. Fiscal year 27 CIPs. So we do have a total of 15 projects for fiscal year 27 with a budget of 30.4 million. So a majority of this is going to be funded by future grants for around 15 million. And again, if we are not able to secure the grant, we are not working on this project. And then the next bulk of the project are funded through capacity fees at 44%, around 13.3 million in expansion projects. And then we're finishing off the rest of the 2024 bond money on capital replacement projects for 1.8 million. And then the rest are other minor funding sources. Next slide, please. So our historical investment, fiscal year 2021, we started with 20.8 million. We are projecting to end fiscal year 26 at 55 million. Next slide. Reserves. So we have restricted reserves and designated reserves. So restricted reserves we have here are bond or debt reserve. This is actually for our debt service. That funded the pure water monitoring project. So we have our bond and debt reserve. The amount here is determined by our debt service schedule. 2024 bond. These are the bond proceeds to fund the CIP project that we did back in 2024. Capacity fee reserve. So these are collected from developers to pay for new facilities or expansion projects. So current fiscal year, we anticipate to end fiscal year 26 at 14.7 million. And next year at 4.2 million. So with the CIP project that's budgeted this year, we do plan to bring down the capacity fee reserve by building expansion project. So we plan to end the year at 14.7. At the end of the next fiscal year, we anticipate that the balance is going to be 4.2 million. Designated reserves, we have capital replacement reserve. So this is set aside to replace capital. So this is set aside for capital replacement when capital reaches its useful life. So the target level based from our reserve policy is the most expensive asset to replace per cost center. So our target is 3 million, and we have already reached that target. So this bucket will remain in place until we reach that. If we need to replace any of our capital asset and we don't have the money in operating, then we feed it into this fund or reserve. Next, building removal fund. These are the funds from FORA. a reserve for blight removal. If you recall, the original amount there was around 900,000 plus almost 1 million. We are down to 217,000, and after next year, 207, 27. Operating reserve. So this is to be used for unanticipated operating expense. This is designated for current operations to meet routine cash flow needs. So fiscal year 26, we are going to end at 23 million. And by the end of fiscal year 27, we anticipate our ending balance to be 23